In a world in crisis, can three idiots find hope in the darkest of places? Will love conquer all, or will hate win out in the end? This is a show called Hate.
Hello and welcome to a show called Hate, a podcast in which we explore love, hate, and everything in between in such a greater meaning and perhaps a little perspective. I'm John.
I'm Chris.
And
it's a very gentle tone.
It's very gentle, isn't it? We're doing things a little differently
in a way.
In a way.
Well, we're not all scrambling for attention.
No.
There's only two of us.
Yeah, you see, there's always been an uncomfortable energy in the room.
There has always been a very timid but fierce rivalry.
Yeah, it's like we're all wrestling to be kind of like
top dog.
Top dog.
Yeah.
But really, we know now who the top dogs are.
Well, the other one isn't here.
There's only room for two top dogs in that
the
trio.
other one's been to the pound.
By which we mean Scotland.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Yeah.
Nick isn't here. He's abandoned us.
No, he's in Edinburgh.
He's in Edinburgh, the traitor.
Edinburgh is my favourite city.
Oh well, fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of him.
What am I?
Not to do you. Not to do you a disservice. I'm delighted to be here, of course. But you know,
of course, Cheltenham isn't a city.
Cheltenham's town.
It's a town.
Yeah.
It's a very large town.
It's a large town, and Gloucester is a small city.
I'd heard rumours.
Oh yeah.
Unsubstantiated.
From who? Or you're not allowed to say?
No, just people.
Just
people.
Sure.
Yeah. I'd heard rumours that Cheltenham is the biggest town in the UK.
Is that right?
That may not be true.
I don't know.
That could just be but it sounds true.
It could be true.
Doesn't it? It sounds like it could be true.
Based on what we know about Cheltenham, that could very well be true.
Yeah.
I can't think of a bigger town that I've been to.
No. It gets a bit woolly, though, doesn't it? Because there's St David's in Pembrokeshire, which is the UK's smallest city.
Correct. We've been there.
We have been there.
Yeah.
On that fateful summer.
Yes, well, we drove. Well, you drove around the country.
I drove, yeah.
I navigated. We didn't even have sat-nav then.
No, in those days. We
didn't even have sat-nav, and we navigated our way around the country.
Kids these days, they don't know they're born.
They don't. We only had one car. We
only had three wheels.
We had to load the dishwasher by hand.
All we had was the sun and a theodolite.
Yeah.
Headed for the horizon.
We just followed where our noses took us.
Here's a weird blast from the past, if you want to feel old.
Go on. I love feeling old. It's great.
A friend of my mom got in contact because her daughter is a student at our old secondary school.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's just started, brand new to the school, and she had some history homework. Which was
which
was to find an old man to talk to. Basically, find an ex-student of Newent,
right?
Which is the school, and interview them.
Oh God!
So it was like, hey, can you help? And can you help like?
So are you saying you're essentially a historical figure now?
Basically, because she wasn't allowed to go out and dig up a corpse, I was the next best thing, is what I'm saying. A corpse would probably have been a bit livelier.
Yeah,
but
were you not feeling it?
No, it was very nice, but I like the fact that it was short notice, because otherwise I would have started thinking about it.
Jack Fortune is a con artist.
Well,
who once he was killed, proceeded to take over the afterlife and run it like a business.
You've
I've heard the
you've read the book, yeah.
I've heard the patter.
So they're like, okay, can you help? I was like, yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Can you help now?
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay.
So
yeah,
did
sure.
they want to interview you because you've done something with your life?
No, not at all. Oh God, no. Who do you think I am? But it was like, you just went to the school, didn't you? It was like, yes.
Right.
And then
thank you for your time.
So then they call up half an hour later, and I'm on speakerphone.
Oh yeah.
And honestly,
what? You're in the lesson?
No. This is in the evening.
Oh.
So she's as in
you mentioned speakerphone. It threw me off.
Yeah, because her mom was also on the line.
Gotcha.
And her mom was...
All right, I'm with you now.
And her mom was transcribing everything while the daughter asked the question.
I see.
And it was because I think she'd left it to the last minute, and I think it had to be
Anyone will do.
I know it had to be in tomorrow. Look, we're not fussy.
Yeah.
What's the assignment again? People who have achieved things,
inspired and achieved.
Don't worry about that. That's fine. That's just a guideline. That's not. It's not essential. But yeah, I felt old. I did feel old because
We had at my place of work a work experience placement last year. A young girl who went to our old school.
Oh wow!
Which was a strange coincidence, seeing as this where we are now is a fair way away from our old school.
Yeah. It's kind of like she rolled across the street.
You know how when you're in work experience, the teacher would come and check on you to make sure you've been going.
Yeah.
And you're there.
Yeah, that you're not.
The teacher who walked in was one of our old teachers.
Oh no!
And was like, she was like, do you remember her name was Miss Palmer?
She
was a home economics teacher.
That does ring a bell.
Anyway, she came in. Hi, my name's Pippa. Was like, hello, miss.
Oh no.
She was like, oh, all right. And I think she sort of recognised me.
That's got to be a nightmare, though, hasn't it? If you're the teacher.
Oh yeah.
Because how many children have you dealt with?
Oh, you must
over the years.
Yeah.
Like hundreds.
I wouldn't. Some people would be offended if your teacher forgot you. Though I wouldn't.
No,
I don't give a shit. But
no, so I'd rather they did forget me. I'd be like, well, no, you're living a life. Like you don't need to be.
Yeah, but she said as she walked out, she goes to me, the teacher this is, oh, you'll have to write to us and you can be one of our success stories. I was like, really? Really? I mean, what?
At the time, you were naked from the waist down as well, unshaved.
She'd come to my shack to make sure the work experience was still there.
Sorry. It's fine.
But I was like, oh, okay. I never did.
So, Chris, very good. You got dressed today.
Someone goes, oh, and how is Chris Ray? Oh, he's very well. He's got his own shack.
Oh,
put him on the success wall. Come on.
Look at the yearbook. It's like most likely to
own shack.
Own or part own a shack. Well, it was like, when did you start school and when did you leave school? And I was like, well, 1997 and 2004. And then you go, and I was like,
Jesus.
And I was like, but that wasn't very long ago. I was like, oh wait, actually,
15 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, I always think about that at uni. We have this conversation because I'm still in touch with a lot of people from uni. Every year we have the conversation. Oh, the people who are starting out uni now were however old.
Yeah.
When we started uni. This year they were 4 years old when we started university. I mean, sweet Jesus.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, because I've been, it's a new academic year. We've had new students starting the university at the university where I work, and it's
young people are awful, aren't they?
I hate the vast potential they have ahead of them. I hate that
they're not burdened like we are.
I hate how I am irrelevant now because of them.
Oh, the world's moved on.
Yeah,
the world has massively moved on.
We had our chance, basically.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say if you haven't achieved anything by the age of 27, you're basically done for.
You're done. Yeah, you might just be lay out to pasture now.
I know. I'm just, I'm just glad if I can end a day without being in pain. That's like
I never do. I'm resigned to the fact I won't be.
I dream of those moments.
I wake up every morning and my hips hurt.
Yeah, it's
awful.
It's a lower back for me.
Yeah, hips and lower back.
Yeah. Right now, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And we're smiling.
Yeah.
We're having a good time, but I'm thinking about my back.
Yeah. Oh, mine is now starting to hurt because we're talking about it. Frankly.
Oh, and the weather, your joints.
Well,
yeah.
I hoped you would ask me how I was when we came and started recording.
Oh,
but you didn't.
Oh, no. Okay, it's fine.
But I'll just tell you.
Well, my memory's going because of my age.
When did you get here?
Who are you?
Get out of my house.
You're not the carer.
I've been so tired this week.
Yeah.
Since the weather turned.
I know.
I've been so tired.
My lumbago has really been kicking in. I am exhausted.
Yeah, today especially, my eyes were going.
I know.
Don't know what that's all about.
And, I mean, I had to... we had a team away day today. And...
That sounds awful.
Well, there were multicoloured hats involved.
Jesus.
Now, you know my track record with hats.
Sure. Did you find one to fit?
No. And I had 6 in a row that I had to wear. And the thing is, like, it's bad enough when someone hangs me a real, actual fabric hat.
Yeah.
But if you give me a paper hat,
Oh no.
That hat's going to die. Like,
What was it, like tissue paper?
yeah,
we're
like
talking?
party hats. Yeah.
Oh no.
It was a really
I
weird.
bet they split.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
And the idea is that we were brainstorming different
Oh god.
creative endeavors.
Sure.
This was being led by a marketing expert. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, optimistic.
Yeah, okay.
Keeping
Open mind.
Let's
Keep an open
keep him
mind.
his own. Keep him his own. And the idea was, and this was clearly like a tried and tested routine, is that you had a series of hats, and every hat was a different color.
Right.
And when you were wearing one hat, you had to be factual.
I see. So you were given different not personas.
Kind of.
You were given different roles.
But everyone wore them at the same time.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, everybody put on your white hats.
Oh.
And that means now you're...
Well, why do you need hats?
It's
Can't you just say now you're going to do it like this?
like a mind-expanding drug. Like some people would take LSD, but instead we have to wear different hats.
But what difference does the hat make?
It's just a metaphor. The hat is a metaphor in this
That's
scenario.
a waste of
Yeah.
money and time and effort.
Well, it's certainly in my case.
Although you are now recalling it.
Indeed.
To be
so
fair.
so that's the thing. I remember
On the other flip side of it.
It left an impression. But it's interesting that they could get like 4 hats, which were like standard issue party hats,
Sure.
which
Yeah.
are kind of like just come out of a cracker
Yeah.
in different colors. Then they clearly couldn't get a white one.
Right.
So there was no thematic consistency because the
no.
white hat was like a paper chef hat.
Okay.
So
I mean,
you-
that's not too bad a compromise.
No, but
as it goes.
you're going from like crown,
Chef.
chef's hat, which did have expanding. You could adjust the chef
I
hat.
can picture it. I can picture
Didn't
what
work.
you're talking about.
It didn't work. There's a limit to how far it will expand. And then we had a homemade mortarboard, like you were a
made
graduate,
out of paper.
and like cardboard and a little hairband.
That's
so it
such
kind
a
of
waste of everyone's time.
well, we
Someone had to put effort into
yes,
making that.
someone put a lot of effort into that, and they had to make like 30, 40 of them.
My God.
So, but we were talking about the thematic thing. So it's kind of like you start with the white hat, and you have to be. I think it was like factual. Like you can only talk about things you know.
Is this in a general sense, or is this part of a
In the remit,
an
remit of the project.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, we need to design a new car,
Right.
or something like that, or
Yeah,
a new
yeah.
mode of transport. So you go, okay, white hat. What do we know? So
What-
you can only
what do we
say
know about transport?
Yeah, you can only say true things.
Right.
Then it's like I forget all. I'll be honest with you, I glazed over
Like
for a little bit.
creative.
One was creative, like you
Yeah.
can only come up with ideas. One was critical.
Practicalities.
Yeah, so one was like you can only talk about what's bad about the idea.
Right, okay.
Then one was like you can only talk about what's good about the
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Then one was like
This is not the shittest idea I've ever heard.
that's a shit hat.
Yeah.
No, wait. It's a great
It's a
hat.
good
It's
hat.
a good hat.
It's not the worst hat I've seen.
And then one was like I think this was the red hat. I was like, oh, this has got to be anger.
Yeah.
But no, this one was instinctual. So you had to think from your gut. You had to be
You had to
like
walk with your heart.
So we had to like come up with like, and the ideas just kept getting like refined,
Okay.
and then it was like instinctual. What do you feel like? Which
How does this make you feel?
Which idea are you gravitating towards?
Right.
And then finally, at the end of it,
You had a.
you
mode of
had an
transport.
idea, and then we had to pitch it to the room.
Oh.
Now I know. I'm a little skeptical about marketing in general. I know it's an area which you and I technically work in.
I work for a company with marketing in the name.
You work for a company with marketing in the name. I am marketing adjacent.
Yeah.
I'm in communications.
Yeah.
And
Running parallel too.
my leading theory about marketing is that nobody knows what works, because if you did,
Oh, it's all a massive like throw shit at the wall.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say this really, but never mind.
no, but it's true though, isn't it?
And see what sticks, and if it works, do it again.
Because if we knew what worked, you'd do it once, and you'd never need to do it again.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Easy.
So my theory is that like no one ever really knows what works. We're all just making stuff up. And
That's a metaphor for life, really.
well, maybe so, but people get paid a lot of money to pretend they do know what they're talking about when it comes to marketing. And so we just had to pitch this idea.
Right.
And we all took turns. And when it came for our team to pitch, you get 2 minutes to say your piece.
Right.
And we weren't talking about...
And you got to do it in front of everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we weren't talking about designing cars. It wasn't
was
cars.
something else,
It was
yeah.
something about like things that universities would be interested about, a marketing initiative. And we kind of stood up, and you get 2 minutes. And the person leading our group was doing the intro, and they talked for a minute. Right. And I was looking at the clock, and I could see it like ticking down.
I see. Oh, well.
And I was like, "Oh, we haven't quite
done the product."
So I was like, "Tag me in." And basically, I think
were you the right choice for that?
I think because I was like a bit sleep deprived.
Oh no!
I just talked about an ad campaign, and I
Did
just
you have to answer questions afterwards?
Yeah, so there were questions at the end.
Right.
But I just talked about this ad campaign, which was like an idea we'd come up with like 5 minutes before going on stage. And I just kind of like...
The last thing I remember. This is the last thing I remember.
And I just started talking kind of like nonsense. I just went like, hey, picture a room. Man walks in, he's good looking, he's successful. Bang, something happened. Like just like coming up with crap like this. And then everyone started laughing.
Right.
And I was like, okay, this is good. Like, at least they're paying attention.
Yeah.
And then...
Your trousers had fallen down.
Yeah.
That's what actually happened.
And I was in the wrong room.
And then I woke up.
And then they said, what are you doing in this neonatal ward? And, and then they applauded.
Right. Good.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
And then we realised we had a few seconds left, so we rattled out some other stuff.
And also, there'll be social media. Just do that. Also, there'll be some social media.
But anyway, the long and short of it is, we won.
Good. Well, it can't have been that bad then.
Well, that's the thing. And or we have no judgment as a... Yeah. But it won. And then everyone at the end was coming over and going like, that was a brilliant pitch. Like,
there you go.
just like...
Maybe it's because you spoke instinctively.
Spoke from the heart.
Spoke from your gut.
I was still wearing a red hat.
There you go.
That was why.
You spoke from your gut. It's very important in business.
Well... And that's a weird thing. Like everyone's going, like, "Oh, you're the marketing whisperer. Like, how do you know how to do this?" I'm like, I don't. Like, I really don't.
It's bollocks.
I know. It's all just. I just. The only difference was I just talked with passion about something I knew nothing about.
There you go. That's the trick.
And then at the end, everyone, even like the expert, was going like, "Don't know your name. What's your name?" I was like, "Oh, John." He said, "You see, John, that's the power of a good pitch. Power of a good pitch."
Yeah. I don't.
I'm a fraud. I just made something up.
But that's a good sales technique, though. Not a technique.
No, but
like
just
sales patter. Because you had an event recently and you were selling at that, presumably. So that's good experience.
Yeah, it's just the only difference was we just spent a weekend in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Thank you for looking after our cat, by the way.
You're welcome.
That's very, very
Still
kind
alive, that cat.
Oh, he's doing fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the only injuries he sustained were prior to you taking care of him, which were great.
God bless him.
He's been fighting cats.
Yeah. Oh, no. You told us this last episode.
I think I did. Yeah, his face exploded.
I remember telling Liz the story.
Yes. I mean, she didn't listen to the podcast.
Well, I told her it before she listened to the podcast.
I see.
She always asks, how was the podcast?
Ah.
And then I give her basically the York notes of the podcast.
And you say, don't ask me. Listen.
Thing is, I get home. No, I'm not joking. I get home and she'll go, oh, what were John's loves and hates? And what were Nick's loves and hates? And I'm there thinking, I can't remember. For the life of me, I cannot remember what they said.
I barely recall... from in the moment.
Yeah.
While we're here, we were up in Glasgow. We were selling comics, and Glasgow is very far away.
It is. If you drive, certainly.
It's certainly if you're driving. It's like a 700-mile round trip, and it was an all right show.
Good.
I think it was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't amazing, but it was good.
Fine.
Yeah, we found it quite hard to get engagement from people.
Oh yeah.
Like to the point where we'd go long periods going like, oh, it's a bit quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or you go like...
But there were people there, but
there
not necessarily people coming up to you.
They were just very hard to like... We were joking about it, but with like a grain of truth to it. You get like different audiences sometimes, and it's a bit hard to predict. Like sometimes people are just really up for it. Like, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm not going to buy, but I just want to chat. I'm like, that's okay. Like, it's
that's
nice
fine. But we're on the clock.
Yeah, but other times you get people come up and they don't want to talk at all.
Yeah,
and they just go, I'll buy that.
Yeah,
like literally, like
Well, that's people, isn't it?
And the only thing we
can't trust people.
Yeah, and it's impossible to predict. And the people organising the show, I don't think can predict because it changes every show.
Well, probably every day of the show, I would imagine.
But yeah, we just found it hard to like. We never do the hard sell. We're always like, hey, how you doing? Have a browse if you want.
People are wise to that sort of thing now.
Yeah.
I always think people aren't stupid.
What, the soft sell?
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, just everything. All of the aspects of business and selling and buying and this, that, and the other. I feel people are more wise to that sort of thing now. So just treat them like they're actual people.
It must be.
And you'll probably be all right.
I understand it though, because it must be intimidating if you're walking down an aisle You just got like 20 desperate people on
I've
either
never,
side.
I've never responded to anyone coming up to me trying to sell something. I'd be more inclined to walk out the shop.
There's a few people, I won't name names, there's a few people who are infamous in the community for doing very aggressive sales.
Right.
Like literally like you.
But does that work? Maybe it does.
I think it does for the first sale.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets returning customers. Because if you feel pressured, you often go, oh, okay, I'll get it. It can work. You can bludgeon people into buying something.
I would just walk off.
Yeah.
But I'm very rude.
Well, yeah, you are. Yeah, belligerence. Surly.
Even your soft sell. Hi, how are you doing? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Don't talk to me.
Oh, Jesus.
Just trying to live my life.
I'm just walking here.
Got to say, though, everyone in Glasgow, very friendly.
Were they?
Genuinely.
But you said to me they sound like they're angry, but they're not necessarily.
Everyone sounds furious all the time, but
Yeah.
they're actually like really nice.
I've been to Glasgow with work. I felt I was being looked at because of my English accent. I felt every time that I spoke, someone was going, looking at me like I was like an outsider. I was probably just being paranoid.
Probably one of the best, and if you ever want like one interaction that sums up selling comics on an independent level, it was the Saturday. We got our table, we're all set up, got the comics, it's all great. Guy comes by with his son. And he's walking by, and I see him, and he looks after, he looks at me, and I go, hey, how you doing? He goes, and he looks at me, and he's still walking. He's not slowing down. He goes, that's, he goes, that's after, I think. He goes, I read that online.
Really?
He goes, it's all right. I'm like,
there you go.
I'm like, oh, cheers, man, thank you. And he goes, I'll tell you what, though, if you should find some way to monetize it. He goes, like, oh, it's great. He goes, that's the problem. He's like, I read it online. It's wonderful. No, there's no way to monetize it. I'm like,
I'm selling this.
I'm here with a heart that's true.
Yeah.
And these books. And I did a really good Glaswegian accent at the weekend, and I've lost it now. But I was all over it. That's how excited I am. But yeah, if only there were.
Did he buy anything?
He didn't buy anything.
Fucker.
Did he fuck? No.
Oh.
I'd say if only there were a way to monetize these books, which I've lugged 350 miles to be here today.
Yeah. I mean, that is consumerism at its greatest, isn't it? If there was a way for you to make money out of this, this is for sale.
I gotta say, I've read your entire comic online.
Yeah.
I've read over 700 pages of content, and yeah, I read it all for free, and I wish I could give you some money.
I'll be honest with you, John. I've never read your comic online.
Have you not?
No, but I do buy it.
That's very kind of you.
Thank you.
And I don't read it either, but I buy it.
Well, it's in my bookshelf, and I have read it on the toilet.
I thought it was on your toilet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not in your toilet.
Not in the toilet. That would be very rude
toilet
if I put it
adjacent,
there. It's in the room where my toilet is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got to. You got to have reading material on the toilet.
Oh, you got to.
It's very important.
I feel like phones have brought that, into our
Well,
lives.
I am. I'm told off quite a lot because I spend a long time in the toilet, and it's not necessarily because I'm doing my business for that long. It's because I'm reading something. And I'm there. It's 20 minutes later. I'm still there with my trousers around my ankles.
Sometimes it's just nice to have a place to think.
I'm just reading an article by the Guardian or something about lower league German football, and I'm just going, oh, that's very interesting. Why are you taking so long?
I feel like in a previous age we would have shegs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you just go out
the outhouse.
Go out to the outhouse.
My tool shed. Oh, Dad.
Just go out to your shed. Just chill for a bit. You doing work? No one knows. Maybe you're reading.
It's not important.
It's like my granddad. He's got his weird garage, which
they call them man caves now, don't they?
Yeah,
that's become a bit of a cliched term.
I feel like man cave implies a level of comfort which my granddad's garage does not provide.
Oh, fair enough.
It's like a man cave may have like a chair, maybe like a radio, maybe even like a TV if you're being really fancy.
I associate that term with maybe a games console or a big screen or something like that. Somewhere where the man goes to be on his own, contemplate what's going on in his life, maybe watch a football match.
Whereas my granddad's is more like old tools and lashing. Like he's lashed everything to everything else.
Oh,
like
God.
it's just like cables everywhere.
More lashing.
Granddad, you've not been to sea in 30 years. It's like you never know when a swell will
There's
come.
nothing. Yeah.
I lost so many men.
But that is, I mean, I wouldn't know where to start with a tool shed.
No.
I'd walk in, I'd go, oh look, because there is a vice in my in my parents' garage.
Right.
And as a kid, I always used to play with it.
Yeah.
Like, go, ooh, look at that.
Who doesn't
now,
like it?
Now I'd be like, what am I supposed to do with this? Well, I just get my finger trapped in it, I think.
You just put your finger in.
It's like,
tighten it.
yeah.
Oh no.
And that is like, now what?
Help.
Now what? Oh yeah. I'm useless with tools, as you have seen yourself.
Well,
seeing as you had to help me put some shelves up.
I think you're just waiting for your moment to shine.
In a new place.
Yeah, I think you're just waiting for the time when you need it.
Well, we fixed the shower not that long ago. We have like a stand-up shower thing, and the doors kept falling off when we moved in, and we fixed that.
Are they hanging? Are they on like
wheels? They're on like a runner.
Yeah,
like a curved runner. And they every time you used to open them, because they slide open, they just used to come off the hinges. So that was inconvenient.
Well, I can imagine. I remember the weird murder house I lived in Canada, in Toronto. There was like 9 of us in that house, and the shared bathroom had this massive glass pane across the shower, like in a metal frame. Sorry, did I say metal? I meant a tetanus frame. Yeah, with like jagged edges.
Lovely.
And it was literally just hanging from this bar on these 2 little plastic wheels. So the only thing keeping it there was gravity.
God.
It was terrifying.
Did it ever fall down?
Oh, it did. Yeah, and you had to like. It was horrible.
Lever it back up.
It's not something you want to be doing while you've got clothes on, let alone when you're.
But it's everything. Everything, right, is more inconvenient when you're bollock naked.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah.
Any practical job. I'm not saying
relations.
I'm not saying relations, but everything else. Oh yeah, because I have to go down every weekend. I go downstairs because during the week Liz's alarm goes off about 6:45.
Okay.
And that's when the dog knows to wake up.
Yes.
Because that's the routine. So Liz will go down, give her a breakfast. Dog comes back upstairs. Liz showers, etc., etc. At the weekend, when I'm around, I do it because it's only fair. Because I can't be arsed, I just walk down naked, feed the dog.
That's good to know.
The problem with that is that
you have a French window.
Yeah, exactly that. Our conservatory, as you know, is all windows, and the neighbours can definitely see into it. Now, I'm not saying they've ever seen me let the dog out, but it'll happen one day.
It will happen.
It will happen one day.
It's only a matter of time.
Thing is, I could counteract that by just putting some pajama bottoms on, but I'm not going to.
That's a lot of effort.
I mean, why should I?
No,
I live there.
You pay your mortgage.
Why should I?
You pay council tax.
Yeah, I work hard.
my thing is, it's like talking about nudity in my house.
Sure.
It's like the bed is inconveniently in the way of the curtains. So what I'm saying is,
go on.
I find the added inconvenience, which, let's be honest, is maybe like 2 seconds extra work.
Yeah, but it is inconvenience nonetheless.
Having to go around the bed to draw the curtains.
Oh, I see. Are you further from the bed?
Yeah.
Further from the curtains.
It's basically like after I've showered and I come back into the bedroom to get dressed, I'm like, I'm not going to go over and shut the curtains.
No, why should you?
So I kind of bend double, which I feel is worse in a way. So I'm naked, kind of like bent like an L. Sort of like, basically like waddling around the room.
Yeah.
And I know that out the back window, it's mostly like our back garden, and then like there's like an elderly person's bungalow. And I'm like, I know
they're not gonna.
Their eyesight's not great.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be able to see anything.
We can always explain it to them.
Yeah, there's a tree kind of in the way.
Yeah.
Or, and this is what I've been telling myself for like a year. Or I'm eventually going to speak to him. And they're going to be like, "Oh, it's the naked,
it's the naked gentleman from
boy.
over the road.
Yeah. Why does he always walk bent over? It's really weird." So I'm like a gambler.
Yeah.
Like I've committed long term now to this fraud. I can't go.
The thing is, you've probably been doing it long enough now that you're not going to change.
How do you feel about being naked in front of a window? What the window starts at like waist height.
Well, funny you should mention that, John.
Go.
Because I have that window in my bedroom. We have a bay windows that face out onto the road.
Yeah.
Which is a main road that goes into town.
I'm familiar with the road.
You have seen me through that window, not naked.
Not naked.
Putting up curtains when we first moved in.
And we were desperately trying to get your attention.
Yeah, which you failed to do, which is fine. But you can appreciate that people could see me from the road.
Oh, 100%.
From that window.
Yeah.
So, I have been in that room naked, having had a shower. With the windows wide open. So what I have to do is crawl on the floor.
Yeah.
Just crawl along, pull the curtains pull the curtain the other way, and then go, all right, I'm okay now. Good.
That's like the problem with that is that's like me being bent over. It's like to avoid the shame. If anybody catches you, me bent over, or you crawling on your hands and knees,
crawling naked on my hands and knees.
If anybody then walks into the room and catches you by surprise, they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I can't let them see my shame."
The thing is, Liz lives with me, obviously, and has done for 2.5 years. I feel like I wouldn't need to explain what I was doing to her. She could walk in and catch me doing that, and she would know exactly what was happening.
Yeah, she's mostly on to you by now.
Yeah, she's like, oh, for God's sake.
It's so funny.
This again.
It's weird, like, the levels of... Because I've maintained for a while that if you're in a car driving, you could theoretically be naked from the waist down and probably get away with it.
I mean, but speed cameras would catch you out on that front.
Perverted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't speed if you're half naked.
No,
in the car.
Keep to the speed limit.
Keep to the speed limit and you'll be all right. Or a lorry driver might see you.
If I was a lorry driver, I might brighten up my day. I'd be like...
I've been
driving a long way. But it's interesting, like, if you're 100% naked, but you're standing in front of a window that starts at waist height, then you're like...
What counts as indecent exposure, though,
this is the question. Like, but here's the thing. If you walked by the window and you were wearing trousers but no shirt, would you feel too worried? Because you know your shame is hidden.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is the thing.
I don't know.
These are the questions that keep me awake.
I've never thought about it.
So then it's like, if you walk by a window, same window, and you're wearing a shirt but no trousers, you're like, this is my secret.
Where's the window?
Well, the same window.
Oh, the same window. Yeah, okay.
But so you go like, this is my secret. Nobody knows.
Yeah, but then people might figure it out depending on how you're standing. People might look up going, bet he's naked.
Could be.
Bet his bottom half's naked. Look at how he's standing with his hands on his hips.
Unusually wide stance.
Yeah.
So then, and then the piece de la résistance is you have nothing on, and you're naked in front of a window that starts at the waist, and everyone goes, "Oh, look at him, he's topless." Because
I still think people could tell, though.
But no one would think you were brazen enough to be fully naked.
I don't know.
Or even worse, naked but you're wearing socks. Which is
no one would know that.
But that's somehow more naked. You know what I mean?
But that's deliberately naked.
It's for Sonic.
If you've taken the time to put socks on, that means you've not been caught out. You're just being a dickhead.
You're making a statement.
Yeah, you're saying I'm naked and I don't give a shit.
I just say that's the thing. It's so weird, isn't it? The socks add something
sinister nature to it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've never thought about it in that great depth.
No,
I'm glad we have though.
Well, like I said, this is like a show called Hate. Nikes.
Well, I did have a hate prepared.
I was going to... Yeah, do you want to do some hates?
If you want to.
Yeah,
we might as well.
I think we've successfully filled the time that would otherwise be wasted on Nick.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Let's do... How long have we... Oh, yeah.
Half an hour or so. Yeah. Good, okay. Good. So, have you got a hate?
Yeah, all right then.
Yeah, give me a hate.
The existential dread of being at the front of a queue in Wilkinson's. Right,
okay.
Here's why.
Okay.
So, you've waited in this queue...
Okay.
For a long time. Let's say you've been in the queue for 15 minutes.
Wow.
A long time.
It's quite a queue, actually.
Long
quite
time.
a queue.
So you're at the front of the queue, you're thinking, God, these people are going to be waiting 15 minutes for me. I better not. I better sort of like be a good customer here.
Yeah.
I better make this transaction pretty quick.
So your mind instantly goes to the place where the reason we're held up
is because people have
there are bad customers.
People don't... For example, bad customers are people who don't have their money ready.
Okay.
They don't know what they need to pay.
Instantly baffled by...
like there's someone who'll say, "Oh, that'll be $5.99, please," and then they get their wallet out. What the hell is that?
Hate to see it.
It's like, oh, what's your shit? Yeah, I do need to pay you money.
Oh yeah, this is an exchange.
Exactly.
So
you'll get called, till number 5, please. So you go along to till number 5. You're thinking, right, all these people are waiting behind me. I've got to be a good customer. So you've got to get to the till promptly. But not too promptly that you're overtaking the customer who's already there. You've got to wait for them to leave, but get there at a point when everyone else is still thinking, he's on the ball. Then you've got to do your transaction very, very quickly. They'll give you the change. You can't fumble with your change. The pressure when you're given change and you've got to start putting change in your wallet really, really quickly so the next person can come along. Jesus Christ, I've never felt pressure like it. I've never felt pressure like it when I'm at the till at Wilkinson's.
I
feel like everyone's looking at me.
Is it an extension of feeling that, like, I'm causing a problem? Like, like you're somehow.
I'm concerned that I'm holding everyone else up because I'm a very impatient person.
Well, but actually, what you're saying, it sounds like you're a conscientious person.
I'm a conscientious but impatient person. Like, if someone fumbles with their money, or doesn't have their wallet out at the queue, I'm the first person at the front of the queue tutting.
I will kill you.
Going.
I
honestly, it winds me up when people do that. So I'm conscious of doing it to other people. I hate the pressure that surrounds that, though, in my own mind.
It's so weird, isn't it? It's like probably the moment where I would probably just, I wait for the ground to open me up, as if like you're going to the till and you drop something.
Yeah.
Or
nightmare.
Or you fumble.
Or you got to pack your bag. You got to pack your bag. If, say you've got some dog treats and things like that.
Yeah.
Which I do at Wilkinson. And then you've got to pack your bag, and that takes a while. And it's like, oh
yeah.
God.
Oh, it's like any supermarket experience where you are the items go through.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a big shop,
feeling rushed.
Yeah. If you do the big shop, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows a lot of stuff going through.
Yeah.
Got a bit of time. But if it's like maybe a one bagger.
Yeah.
And
you got to pile everything in the bag
because they're scanning them so quickly.
Quick! You got to get everything in the bag so the next customer can come. Quick!
And because all they have to do is scan it, they've thrown through 20 items.
Yeah.
In a blur.
Packed 2.
Yeah, and then they go, that'll be £15.
Then you've got to get your card
62.
out.
Like,
Then you've not got your wallet out.
Yeah.
You've got to pay your card, and the person behind you, me, is going, oh for fuck. See?
And like
pressure.
Lucy and I have been together for nearly 10 years now, which is kind of insane. And I think the real...
Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel like the real test and kind of like measure of our relationship is how quickly we work together in the checkout aisle, basically, where we are like... where one of you's stacking, the other's paying, and then in that brief pause between entering your PIN number... you've got a few seconds. You can get a few more items in then.
Well, I'm told explicitly when we go shopping to stay out of the way, so I just pay.
You will lose a finger.
Yeah.
Basically.
I'm useless at that kind of thing. Certainly doing it in an organised way.
Is that because you've never been given the chance?
Oh no,
learn?
I've certainly been given the chance. I've just wasted all of those chances.
I was at Tesco's the other day. Other supermarkets are available.
They are available.
And the greatest gift they gave to mankind was the self-service area, so you didn't have to have these.
They annoy me.
Well, different.
I'm sure I've spoken before on this show.
The point is, I remember you got 2 rows of self-service. Go help yourself. Go where you want. Just look for a green light.
Yeah.
And there was a lady, just. Like adrift on the tides of life, just kind of like bouncing about and I'm like, and she walks up and she starts walking back, and I'm like, oh, one of the machines must be broken.
Yeah,
that's why she's coming back. So I've already kind of like started to go forward, but she's returning.
Yeah.
So I go, oh, clearly it's
broken.
not. And then the guy behind me is like, you going or not? And then suddenly 3 people are caught in this awkward social scenario. But then she turns around again. And she goes off to another one, and it's like I'm like,
but has she already scanned an item?
No, I don't. Well, who knows?
That's worse. When someone's scanned an item, and then they give up on that till, and you've then got to be like, oh, I've got to wait now. I've got to wait for the person to come along, and reset the self-service. Oh my God.
The only interesting, the thing of Wilkinson's in particular is, and this is my only Wilkinson's anecdote.
Okay.
Is that I believe I may have seen myself from the future in a Wilkinson's once.
Oh yeah,
it was very bizarre.
What was the person shopping for?
Well, I was in the long queue.
Right. Yeah.
Similar situation.
Yeah.
And I
feeling the pressure.
And I just as your mind's racing, thinking, oh God, don't screw it up, John. Don't screw it up.
Don't screw up this transaction.
This social transaction. The money's not important.
In front of the whole town.
And I realised the guy in front of me was wearing exactly what I was wearing. Jeans, a white shirt, a jacket.
Yeah. Was it a yellow jacket?
No, it was like a leather jacket.
Okay.
Not identical because he's not an actual time traveler.
Well, that would,
But he was...
And your jacket would probably wear by the time...
Yeah, exactly,
his age.
It was maybe 20 years older than me.
Right.
30, maybe.
Was it your dad?
It was not my dad, no. But he had grey hair, and a lot of it.
Yeah.
And a beard.
Right.
And I was like... And he couldn't see me because I was behind him, but I was looking at him going,
That looks familiar.
This is odd.
Yeah.
Like, this is like
Would someone have looked at you two in a queue and gone, huh?
father and son
Yeah,
out and about.
well, look at them.
Yeah.
Why aren't they like queuing together?
I go like, we were actually twins.
Yeah.
I got all the good juice.
The worst queuing experience I've had, sort of like for a transaction at least. I was at where was I? I was at NatWest, which was my old bank.
Other banks are
available,
yeah.
I'm about to tell you about one of them.
Oh,
So I waited in this queue for about 20 minutes.
another sponsorship deal down there.
Yeah.
Damage. Yeah.
And I went up, I was like, hello.
Hello.
I thought,
yeah.
I'll be cheery, whatever.
Yeah, nice.
I've been waiting here 20 minutes, but whatever. I'd like to withdraw some money, please.
That's
It was a significant amount of money.
It's not unreasonable.
That's not unreasonable.
No, it's a
so I
bank,
handed
yeah.
them my card, and it just went, dude, and it, like, as if to signify that it hasn't worked. And I was like, oh, God, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So the woman hands me back my card and goes, sir, you don't have a bank with us, and this is a Santander card. Oh, yes, that's right. I switched banks about a month ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been drinking today.
I hadn't even. This was lunchtime at work. I just completely forgot that I'd switched banks.
Oh, that's quite
Queued
impressive.
for 20 minutes and embarrassed myself. That's the pressure. Gets to me.
So I'm just letting that moment kind of sink in.
Yeah. Oh, that happened.
If we had sponsors, of which you've probably scared off
Most
any
of.
potential, yeah, that would have been where the ad break went.
Yeah. We could put an ad break in.
We could just put
We could
our
make
own
an
in
advert.
for
Don't know.
someone,
Something. Some frozen product.
probably.
What's your hate?
My hate is, and I apologise
Oh, yeah.
in advance because this will hit a little close to home.
Oh, no.
Football humour.
Are you talking about lad banter?
Well, it's a subset. There's a Venn diagram
Right.
here where lad banter.
It's in the middle somewhere.
Because
Well, what have you got an example of?
well,
what this
okay.
is? This could cause controversy.
There is a new ad for a new show,
Yeah.
and I've already forgotten what it's called. It's called something like, I don't know, Top of the Net or something like that. I don't know. Why not? And it is a
Is this the one Peter Crouch?
yeah.
On?
What's
Okay,
it
I
called?
don't
Do you
know
remember?
what
Right,
it's
yeah.
called.
So it's like coming to Amazon
Yeah,
TV, and it's a new football related chat show / comedy
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And it's basically, I can't remember her name, but she's a football journalist.
Gabby. Her name was Gabby Yoreth Logan now.
Gabby Logan.
She married a rugby player.
So we have someone with journalistic sport credentials.
Yeah.
Then we have that comedian, John Bishop.
Oh.
I've always had a theory that like comedians have to be a little weird. I've always felt that like there's comedy in being the outsider or the underdog, and yet John Bishop, he might say stuff like, "Oh yeah, when I was a
He's Scouser. He's got a strange voice. He sounds like he's drunk all the time.
But he'll always go like, this isn't an accent. He'll go like, when I was young, I made jokes to avoid bullies, and I'm like, John,
You didn't.
John, look at you. You were punching like some.
You were punching the
yeah,
bullies.
you were punching. You were punching a nerd.
not the bullies.
Yeah,
the
you
nerds.
stole jokes from the kid you were stealing lunch money from. Like look at it's like he doesn't. He's too good looking to
he's
be
a good bloke.
to be a comedian, and his teeth are
Good
crazy.
at sports as well. Did marathons for Comic Relief.
Did he really?
Ran a load of marathons.
Okay,
in a
so
week.
now I feel bad because he did work for East Coast.
Well, everyone has.
So yeah, then it's like all I can see are the producers behind the scenes going like, well, the banks are already flowing.
Oh yeah,
like we're already
have bands.
We're already having a great
Gotta
time.
have bands.
And then we'll get that Peter Crouch guy on because he's funny and he did that Dank Swonks.
Yeah.
And then we'll get fourth just random football person because if you follow football, you must be good. You must be good at banks.
Oh yeah,
got to be good at banks.
Everyone's good at bands. It's like Jimmy Bullard. Well, you're probably thinking of Soccer AM,
yeah,
which was a show many years ago, and that's probably the dawn of football bants. That show.
It's like
Thing is, I don't count myself as a normal football fan.
no.
In that I'm not like lads. Why do that? If I do it ironically.
You do it ironically, yeah. I think the thing that annoys me about it, it's just because I'm an outsider because I've never really got it. As you know, you've known me my whole life basically.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Okay, bants in general. Let's break it down.
Bants.
Epic bants with the lads. Yeah. Oh,
I remember when banter wasn't a word. It was like an old word that nobody really used anymore, and then it made a comeback.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's quite a good word, banter. And now it's just like, oh.
You feel like originally banter is something that, like, in the Canterbury Tales, like, you know, two peasants would banter.
Two peasants would banter over a sausage roll.
So now, you've got, like, the Greater Circle, which is like, oh, the Earl of Banterbury.
Yeah.
You know.
Bant and deck.
Bant and deck, yeah. And then if you work in university marketing, there is the...
Oh, no.
The University of Banterbury, which is, I just aged...
Do they go with that?
I just aged 10 years saying it out loud. It's a spoof account.
Oh,
but it's run by somebody who clearly works for a university, and it's all in jokes.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. But so you've got epic bants with the lads, you know, or you know, old and you always have like Tugger Dave or something like, you know.
That nickname, Dave.
Do you remember that time Tugger Dave? Tried to import a crocodile rug or something like that, and I was like, oh, it's not where I was expecting that anecdote to go. Yeah, and then it got wasted. Oh, classic Tugger Dave. And then and there's some bad bants. Don't like bullying bants. You know, you've got to pick on someone. But I think we can all agree. I think there's something quite funny about a bunch of guys unironically urging someone to like jump off the second floor of a building into a swimming pool while dressed as a dinosaur. Yeah. And then everyone go like, yeah!
And then they end up on the news.
Yeah. I like semi-ironic lad banks.
Like,
I like lad banks with a bit of awareness.
Yes.
And then...
But there is a lack of self-awareness about some people who do it.
I know.
They don't quite realise they are a complete cliche.
And I think that's it. It's like the thing I dislike about football humour, or the commercialisation of it is the idea that you're plugging in to arguably one of the biggest fan bases in the world. Like, if you love sport, then the producers of any kind of show like this are going... These morons love. They love football.
They love bants.
They love football. The dictionary definition of comedy suggests that they would love John Bishop, you know. And then it's just like, oh, Pete Crouch, he's a bit of a card. Crouchy. And then we just put them all in a room. How can it not be funny?
How can
it not be funny?
We don't need anything else.
And because it's like, it's a cheap way of plugging into an audience. You don't have to be good. You just have to be...
You have. Thing is, Twitter now is just people criticising pundits. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they know better, football fans. And in some cases, that's true.
Well, I mean...
than pundits, but... Yeah.
I mean, bear in mind, I have lived with you.
Oh, yeah.
So I know...
I used to say...
yeah.
I know what you want to say.
No, I'm not going to say it. No.
Don't save those.
Picture the scene.
Thing is, this is when we used to watch every football match.
You just would watch. It was like background noise.
Yeah,
it was like white noise, pink noise. It was just relaxing. Yeah. You didn't even enjoy it.
No.
Like, these games were awful most of the time.
Oh yeah.
So we shared house. There was a lot of football being played, and you can tell I loved it. There was an evening where we were just slowly aging, watching football.
Yeah.
And I think I had a laptop out. I was doing some writing or something. And I don't think you and Holton had spoken for like 5 minutes or so.
Don't need to.
Then there's a goal. And...
postage stamp. Postage stamp. You don't save those.
And I just looked up and I go,
what are you saying?
Do you even listen to yourself sometimes?
Don't save those, Rev.
That's not a statement.
Yeah.
That's not a...
And then we go back to just not talking for a while.
And then, because God knows, we don't want to interact with each other.
Don't need to.
I think it's like commentary. And I guess we're kind of touching on like football punditry and commentary. But clearly there has become now, and I think we kind of took a hint from like American football, where, you know, like... we think of like American football and like the punditry around that. Yeah. It's very cheesy. It's very... And like... You get these
It's all gimmicky.
Yeah, it's so gimmicky. And you get like these ex-American footballers who are built like absolute tanks. And then you get them in a suit.
Oh, yeah.
And
squeezed into a suit.
Can barely get their neck into the collar. And they've got like these big gold rings on their fingers. Because don't you get like a ring if you play
if you
for
win
like
the Super Bowl, you get a ring. Yeah.
So they're all wearing like these massive rings. And they look so kind of like... It's like very hip-hop. It's very swag. You know, everyone's like...
They just say words. They're just there because they're a personality.
Yeah.
And that's true of a lot of football now. It's like people are just there because they're a personality.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Like if a new season kicks off, it'll be covered by a couple of the major broadcasters.
Yeah, Sky predominantly, and BT.
So
football.
And occasionally, I imagine they mix the formula up a little bit. Like who's presenting,
who's going to be pitch side, who's going to be commentating.
So,
et cetera.
As a football fan,
thank you.
Do you ever you tune in for the start of the new season?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is 9 months ish. Okay, yeah. You're like, we're going to be.
It never really stops.
This is like a relationship. Like we're testing the waters. I know I'm going to be with these people for a long time.
It's like an abusive relationship.
Yeah, you just keep coming back.
Oh my god. I'm going to Kent again Saturday.
But do you ever...
I don't know why.
My point is, why am I doing this?
Honestly, oh god.
I have to get up so early. But at this point, like it's the start of the season, do you ever tune in and you go and to guide you through these 3/4 of a year, through 3 seasons as we follow the football, we've got these 3 books, and it cuts to studio. And does your heart ever just sink?
Oh yeah,
where you're like,
there are some pundits. They just talk nonsense.
Yeah,
it's just because they used to play football.
Yeah,
but they just talk. They don't know what they're talking about.
And
I don't like wailing on people who I don't know for no real reason. But some of them, Martin Keown is the worst. I think it's just nonsense. It's just words. Just fill the gaps with words. Any words will do.
But that's the thing though, because I guess my point is they're all wearing suits for a start. That's like the look now, isn't it? Like you've got maybe a waistcoat,
maybe a waistcoat. Yeah. Depends on the occasion.
It's probably quite hot.
FA Cup final, you all got to wear your 3 pieces.
Yeah, so they're sitting in their fancy studio. They've got like a smart suit on, and they watch, a game.
Yeah.
And then they will
Middlesbrough versus West Bromwich Albion.
And a clash of titans.
Making them both seem normal sized.
But they'll comment on a game, and as you say, they might just say gibberish.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't actually add or to anything to it.
Yeah.
But it's just filling the void. But I think it's when they'll make a joke. And I'm saying we're already not in the territory of great wordsmiths, but it's when they're like, he really dropped the ball on that one, didn't he? And he goes, well, I hope not. He's the goalie.
And then everyone goes, come on.
And the camera goes out of focus because the cameraman is just kind of like grinding into the machine. And
glow sticks.
And then the joke will stop and there'll just be a bit of silence.
Yeah.
Because it's not natural.
Yeah.
And no one's actually laughing because they're
Forced
enjoying it. Yeah. Because it's like, well, I have to laugh because he's a footballer making a joke about football.
The thing is, I do things like, but it's like, I feel like I'm doing it ironically. I feel like I'm aware of what I'm doing.
I'm a postmodern football fan, all right? Like, I'm doing this with awareness.
We always say, because I'm in a WhatsApp group with other Gillingham fans, and we all say, we're so not normal Gillingham fans. We're all middle class. We're all just talking about finances of the club and things like this.
It's like, well, I mean, I imagine, just as a casual observer, that if you are a Gillingham fan, you've certainly had your share of heartbreak over the years.
Shite.
A little bit of disappointment occasionally.
Sure.
What league are they in at the moment?
League 1.
That's good.
Division 3 in old money.
Okay, but it's been worse.
It's been worse.
In fact, I remember when you were promoted out of League 2.
League 2.
To League 1.
The old Division 4.
Yeah. I take it back. What are you moaning about?
Yeah, but I've been to 200 and I think it was 25 Gillingham games the last time I counted.
My God.
And I've seen an equal number of goals for and against, an equal number of wins and defeats. I'm not joking. I've got a spreadsheet where I keep a record of it, which is very sad, I realise.
Well, again, going back to being a middle-aged a middle-class Gills fan.
It pretty much is completely even. And it's just like, what was the point of all that?
So what you're basically saying is that statistically, this is quite interesting, out of every game you've seen, it's no better than random chanks.
No.
Like you could have just flipped a coin 225 times.
Yeah.
And probably would have, on average, received the
But I've had little spells where I've watched a load of wins, and I've had little spells where I haven't seen us win for ages.
Yeah.
It all works out the same in the end. You see roughly the same amount of results,
which is ultimately neutral.
Yep.
Like the
So if I were to make a noise that would express how I felt about those 225 games, it would be something like this. Yeah.
I just like, you see, That's kind of terrifying. It's like,
But I've had some good moments. There are some good moments.
This isn't even you like being glib or just making a joke about it. Like, you have the evidence, so
it's all there.
You have the data.
Yeah. It's all there.
It's a 50-50
I dread to think the amount of money I've spent on that.
for a draw. Like, ultimately,
Oh, yeah.
like viewed over the lifespan of your
Over the
fandom.
last nearly 20 years. No, 18 years I think I've been going to Gillingham Games.
Jeez Louise.
Oh, I'm having a crisis.
Astonishing.
I'm having a crisis.
I'm so glad we could bring this to a head.
Oh,
this is
no.
like therapy. Jesus.
Oh God.
Well, okay. Well, let's turn it around then. Have you got a love?
Oh,
Give me a love.
well, yes, I have. Would you like it?
I'd love to hear it.
yeah,
I'd love
okay.
to. I'd love to hear it.
Well, we spoke about it just before we started recording, which is live orchestra.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've been to a few live orchestra events over the last year or so.
Just call it an opera.
Opera. It's not an opera. It's Star Wars related, shockingly.
Okay.
So I went to Star Wars, like the music of John Williams in concert at the Albert Hall.
Oh.
This was actually probably a couple of years ago. It was brilliant. It was great. And this week I went to see The Empire Strikes Back, screened live on a big screen in Birmingham with a live orchestra playing over it. It
Wow.
was brilliant. It was amazing. It's my favourite film, Empire, of all time. And I've never seen it on the big screen for a start. That was cool. And you sort of, as I said to you, forgot the opera. The orchestra was there. Opera. Can you imagine that? Because it was so good.
Yeah.
And that's a compliment rather than an insult.
I remember the humble origins of this podcast before the days of live orchestra performances. I've not forgotten where we came from.
Well, it's a very varied podcast, this. Bear in mind,
Yeah.
last time out we were talking about shit. Earlier in this episode, we were talking about being bollock naked in a window, and now we're talking about orchestra. So you can't say you don't get a lot of variation in this show.
No. But yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad.
That is my love, because it's not something I would normally associate myself with enjoying.
No.
But seeing these things have been brilliant.
It's weird because I've always wondered about that sort of thing because I'm a hoity-toity fellow. I like elitist nonsense.
Yeah. As much as the next guy. Yeah.
Pretentious, some might say. And yeah, I've never seen a live performance of an orchestra.
No, it's very good.
I've often wondered about that because say you go to like, well, mind you, here's the thing: I've never seen a live performance from a band that was purely an instrumental.
Right.
Like, there's always been lyrics.
Yeah.
So
It's the karaoke version.
well, that's the thing. I just wonder, like, I've often wondered, like, if you went to, you go to a concert, you go to see, Oasis. Well, you have,
I thought you were going to say Oasis.
have a laugh, have a sing. Well, I know this one. Sing along. It's amazing.
if you don't like football humour, do not go to an Oasis gig.
No.
Oh my good God.
No, that would be.
Obviously at gigs, I'll go off on a tangent slightly. They have these grates because a lot of them are at football stadiums gigs, certainly Oasis gigs.
Yeah.
And they're these grates, and
There's a strong overlap, shall we say? between...
of the audience. Yeah. There are blokes who are bollock naked at events like this.
Great.
And they slide head first, front first on these grated steel panels. Like, people will piss into a circle. I'm not joking. People will piss into a circle, chuck their beers into a circle, and people will like slide like they're going down a soapy tarpaulin or whatever. It looks so painful.
The framing of this story is, it's not like I saw the wildest shit once and this is what it was.
I saw this happen at an Oasis gig in Manchester.
Just for once?
No, it happened. It was going on for hours.
Good God.
But it's not the only gig I've seen it happen at.
Was it happening like behind the crowd? Like, was everyone even looking at the band when they were performing?
It was going on sort of towards the back of, if you could imagine where people would be standing, towards the back, so away from the stage. But oh yeah, it was graphic.
That's one of the most.
It was intense.
I feel I could ask why, but
I lost a shoe at another Oasis gig.
ugh.
Lost my shoe for ages, like a long time.
Oh, what, you found it?
Found it in the end, yeah.
Oh, where was it?
It's on the floor.
Like below you, beside you, miles away?
It was in front of me.
Okay.
But I eventually went, oh look, there's my shoe.
Had you been drinking?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got it.
No, oh, you got it.
Oh, you got it.
I mean, we're not there.
That was in Cardiff.
We're not there to focus on the music. Like, we need.
Oh, you got it.
Where were we? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, gigs. Yeah,
gigs.
So you
music.
See, but you see,
orchestra, opera.
You see a concert from a band you like, and maybe have a bit of a sing-song.
Yeah.
You know? I guess, like, if you're seeing an orchestra, the classic setup is everyone mills into the opera hall, or the Albert Hall. You sit down very respectfully, and then the orchestra comes out. They bow, and then they start playing.
They do, and the conductor and everyone.
And I just feel like I would feel, even if the music is beautiful, even if the music is kind of like heaven sent and feels transcendental, beautiful, amazing, I'd feel kind of awkward just kind of sitting there, essentially in complete silence, because, you know, respectful of the music, with everyone else just kind of staring dead ahead.
But then a play is a song without music.
That is true.
There you go.
That is true. I guess I don't know why I have more of an issue with sitting, and I fully admit this is just like a hole in my life experiences. I've never done it.
I'd recommend it.
I kind of feel like if you're seeing like a concert, I almost want to have a booth around me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to even, if it's a proper orchestra, stringed instruments.
Yeah.
I don't want to even acknowledge.
I don't want anyone else to be looking at me.
I know.
Or in my direction.
It's like sensory deprivation. Like I don't even want to hear people breathing.
Enhance your hearing of it.
Yeah.
But if you're watching it with a film, as I was the other day, so we did have that entertainment factor.
So how did that work? Could you see the orchestra?
Yeah. So the orchestra were on the stage, as they would be normally, and then there was a huge screen above them, and they just played in front of it. You sort of felt bad because no one was looking at them. You're obviously watching the film.
I guess that's the weird thing, isn't it? Like, they're so good.
Oh, they were so good, because I've watched Empire. It must be 30 odd times. That's probably being quite conservative about it. But every beat, everything was spot on.
See, but that's the thing. It's weird, isn't it? Because you'd only notice them if they were doing a bad job. It's
a compliment, but you feel bad for not really
it's strange,
paying attention to them.
The idea of being perfect is you're invisible.
Yeah,
that's weird, isn't it? So I guess the weird thing is then, and I assume that the LucasArts team or whatever have it, but like I guess they had to release a version of the film with no.
Or they had to, maybe Disney got the raw files when they paid him $4 billion.
I kind of feel that even when they gave him the check.
There's that original version.
Yeah,
it's probably in his lockup somewhere.
There's a salt mine. Do you know?
I did know
where
that.
They keep, where I think a lot of Lucas's stuff was kept.
Yeah, because it doesn't
super dry
with all the salt, the salt mines.
I feel like I get kind of in my head, and what little I know about the man, I kind of feel like he wouldn't have handed over the originals in a weird way. Like they'll give him like a laser disc.
I think I read that was a condition of him selling, that they would never release the originals.
And I could be making this up, but I hear that's got something to do with his first wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would she get some of that profit?
Because correct me if I'm
royalties.
wrong, but the first cut of A New Hope was awful.
Terrible.
And it got saved in editing.
Yes, correct.
By his then wife.
Yeah, I think he and his wife worked on it. He had to sack his editor, or he chose to sack his editor. And then, it was. I think there was another guy involved as well, but that is true.
And I hear, and this could be wrong, that if he ever wanted to re-release that one,
she would have to get
a cut.
Well, there you go.
He doesn't want.
That might be one of the reasons why.
I mean, some might say he maybe has enough money at this point, and it probably doesn't matter. But
people, if they want to find the original enough, they will find it.
Start digging.
People.
Start digging. That salt mine's under there.
No, dig up, stupid.
That's a weird factoid. The movie Land of the Dead.
Oh yeah.
From the 80s, which was the sequel to Dawn of the Dead. Was filmed in the salt mine.
Was it?
Where those tapes are kept.
Did they have to put a curtain in front of them?
Oh no, they're visible in every shot.
Yes, just says Empire Strikes Back.
There's blood all over them.
Yeah.
Because it's just meant to be like a cave system, and they had access to a cave system.
Fair enough.
It's very dry.
Very dry. So dry.
Anyway, I've got a love.
Go on.
I love early 2000s, late 90s reality TV shows set in airports.
Are you talking about The Airport?
No, well, yes.
With that, what's his name? Jeremy,
who became the face of Euronics Electronics. This is true.
Wasn't there one? Oh no, I'm thinking of the cruise.
Okay. Similar vein.
Yeah.
Similar vein. So
what? Give me some examples of shows.
We don't have, as a bit of scene setting, we don't have, for lack of a better word, terrestrial TV in the house. We just have like Netflix.
So that's showing our age.
That's showing our age, yeah. Netflix and YouTube.
Mm.
So whenever we are away on business or holiday and you're in a hotel, one of the great luxuries for me is actually having shit on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Like after the show at the weekend, we watched like the last hour of The Return of the King.
Nice.
We watched about 10 minutes of G.I. Joe
Retro. The last hour of Return of the King is just a series of endings.
Yeah.
The end.
Well,
actually, although I do, Return of the King is my favourite of the Lord of the Rings.
Actually, I turned on the TV and it was literally like ending number 1. I was
Aragorn,
like, oh, fuck.
Aragorn is crowned.
I know. And I was like, oh, shit. But then there was like +1. So I scrolled up a few channels. So we got the good stuff. But, I love... in the mornings, it's the only time I watch it when we're on holiday or at a convention. But in the mornings, I'll turn on like... And it'll be something like... it'll be like crime. It'll be a channel.
There's a lot of them.
It'll be a channel just called like illegal, or something like that. Furtive.
There's a one about repo men called "Can't Pay, We'll Take It Away."
Well, I guess my thing is the subset of those type of shows I enjoy. Has, just the way my brain works, it has like a weird kind of organizational kind of thing to it.
Yeah.
So I used to love Airport back in the day, which, in case you've never seen it, was reality TV is the wrong word. It was like a fly on the wall.
It was one of the original things of that kind, wasn't it? The Airport. That was because that's why the guy did so well out of it, because he was one of the first standout stars from these sorts of shows.
And I think like it wasn't great TV, but it was one of those kind of like weird. Someone has a stupid idea and it actually works.
Like, let's see how an airport works.
Yeah, and it must have been dirt cheap to make because they have like just a single camera crew.
Yeah.
And there's no actors. You just kind of find a few members of the team who are a bit engaging.
Yeah.
They don't even have to be engaging sometimes. You just see them for 5 minutes.
Well, just as long as people can watch them for a bit and then they can hook them in.
Yeah.
Then it's like, we start to care about these people.
So and then you just go like, this is how an airport works.
Yeah.
Stupid stuff like that.
This is good.
And then you get like a mild bit of drama every episode. Like today on Airport, will this couple get to enjoy their holiday in Tenerife when one of them forgets a passport? Gregory, I can't believe you forgot your passport. Coming
The thing
up.
is, you find yourself caring. It's like at the end of the episode, they always say what happened to these people. And like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving until I find out if these people made it to Tenerife.
Gregory eventually went to Tenerife and everything was fine.
Oh, thank God.
But I guess like my particular, like of all of these kind of shows, because they just get syndicated, they're just forever streaming on like Now TV.
Yeah,
there's like border. There's one set in like the New Zealand customs office at the airport, and it's called like border security.
Yeah,
and good God, it must have cost like 25 quid to make. Like it was like the cheapest show in the world, and I love it because it's so boring. Like nothing happens.
Oh yeah.
It's because it's like we were at the show for like 3 days, so I'm like, oh great, 3 mornings of this. It was that, and like I used to love like Travel Cops or something like that.
There's police. No, not that's a show for The Simpsons. Like Police Cops.
Road Cops.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's so. It's only if it's like Britain or New Zealand or maybe Australia at a push. Because they're so mundane, nothing interesting happens.
Yeah.
Like on the final day of our trip, I turned it on expecting like another juicy episode of like customs, and instead it was like border security, America, and I'm like, I don't want to see that.
I don't. Yeah. But then you watch it for 10 minutes and you think, I'm engaged. Well, now. It's like Homes Under the Hammer.
Well,
you watch Homes Under the Hammer, it's like, I'm desperate to see what's happened to this 2 Up, 2 Down in Stoke.
I'm a bit more skeptical about it because that's got a bit more flair. I like how shit these ones. It's like it's like the highlight, the most exciting thing to happen on New Zealand customs security. It's like today on Andy in the impound lot has a suspicious packet. It's always a suspicious packet.
Yeah.
It's
always suspicious until it's not.
And it's like, he's just holding like a toaster, and he goes, "It's a bit heavy for a toaster," and it's like, and Greg has to do a bit of digging, and it's like Greg literally like digging, like that's the level, yeah. But it was like the punchline, as I discovered in the New Zealand one, is that they always find meth, basically.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
That's somewhere.
Yeah, it's like
around.
Here's the setup. It's like doing the same magic trick over and over and over again. So it's like in the mail office. Deborah and Khan have found something a little unusual, and it's like
it's an unusually large marrow.
Yeah, it's actually like it says it's a DVD player. And actually,
you're nailing the accents.
Actually, it's a little heavy. So
there's something in it.
Yeah. So then they go, and then they take it out of the packaging and they go, "Oh yeah, look at that."
Just as I thought.
And it's bulging, like, and they go, "Let's take the screws off." And we take the screws off, and they go, "Oh yes, it's methamphetamine." And literally, it's just full. Like there's a sack of white powder.
Brilliant.
And then somebody had a weight. It sounds like a stupid thing, but like not a very glamorous thing. But you might use it in construction work as like on the opposite end of a pulley.
Right.
And
okay.
literally, it's just a bucket full of concrete, which has come from like China to New Zealand.
Right.
And they're like,
that's very suspicious.
And
this concrete's very heavy.
But that's literally it. They're like, they've scanned it. And they go, "Oh, I think there's a bit of a cavity in the middle of this bucket full of concrete." And they go like, the thing that troubles me is you could just buy one of these for like £2 in New Zealand. Why get one shipped? So
that is troubling.
They just get like a hammer and a chisel out and just go to town on this. And they stretch this out over half an hour. Like they just keep popping back, like because they have three.
They're still working on the concrete.
Yeah, that's it. They have like 3 story threads per like episode that you got to like jump back and forth between, and they keep going
just
back.
them chiseling.
Yeah, and then finally. There's been progress over in the post office. So he goes, "Yeah, I think we're getting closer." And lo and behold, it's a bag full of methamphetamine. Like, I love how I keep coming back, even though I know
that's what's going to happen.
I know it's going to be methamphetamine, like every time.
Oh no, not another bag.
And then you get like occasionally you get like a weird thing, like a guy was pulled over. He's just going through like the body search and everything. Like, as scanned, he just stepped through the scanner, and they go like, "Sir, are you aware that your he was Australian, he was American?" But they go like, "Sir, are you aware that your bag is full of marijuana, marijuana, Mary Jane?" And it is just full. Like he doesn't have any clothes, and his face is blurred out. But then he starts going like,
Don't know.
Goes like, no, but he's like, "Oh yeah, man, it's great. Like, where I come from, we've totally like liberated our minds, man. It's great."
Oh, good.
And they go like, "Yeah, but you have broken the law." And then the voiceover was like, "He had broken the law. After a $1,000 fine, he was sent home." Like, that's just how it ends every time. And the most exciting thing to happen in the last episode I saw was that a Chinese tourist had an apple in his bag.
Oh.
And of course, because they're very strict on bringing
fruits and veg.
Yeah. And they were like, "What's this?" "It's an apple." Dun, dun, dun,
no.
And he goes like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot I had an apple in my bag." Dun, 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 dun. And he goes like, "Quite often people forget that they have apples in their bags. Sometimes they try to eat it to hide the evidence. It doesn't work." He was fined $400.
Oh no!
And went on to enjoy his holiday very much. He had a great time.
It was totally worth it, he said.
And everything's fine. And I love it. And it's so sweet and stupid. And like nothing happens. It's never like there's never any terrible crime. It's always so mild.
Nice crimes.
Yeah.
From innocent people who are just looking to have a good time.
I know. It's always so mild. It's like this guy had a lot of photography equipment with them. I hope he's not planning on going to a snowboard festival and filming it without a work visa. He goes, "I will be filming, but it's all for fun." Like,
wink.
Is it for fun, or is he working without a work visa?
Oh no.
The security decided to let him go anyway. I'm sure he won't cause trouble.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He went on, had a great time.
Had a great time, and it ended up on the channel he's in the country he's from.
New Zealand is wonderful. Please come visit.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so gentle. I love it in a weird way.
Good old New Zealand.
Or like, and the same stands for like travel police or travel cops or whatever it's called. You know, because it's so boring. It's never anything horrible. It's like I don't like watching American cop shows because someone gets shot or there's.
Well, it is more extreme.
Yeah, everything's so intense. It's like they're living in a movie.
There's a show called Ambulance on BBC, or there was.
Oh, what's it about?
Well, funny you should ask.
Oh yeah.
It's about methamphetamines. Which is intense. Like intense.
Oh, so it's like following
ambulance crews around. Jesus.
Is that current?
It's on the iPlayer now, but it has been on BBC recently.
I think that's the thing that worries me.
That's the other side of the curtain.
But I feel that's the difference of 10 years. Where like back in the mid 2000s, it was very.
That was probably quite shocking though in the mid 2000s.
What, seeing all that meth?
Yeah. They're probably like,
whereas
now you've got to do more extreme things to shock people.
They've had to make it. That's the thing. They've had to make it more edgy. You know, you'd never dream of seeing blood in New Zealand.
No,
like
nobody bleeds in New Zealand.
Everyone's too nice. Yeah.
Everyone bleeds rainbows.
Yeah, and lemon bread.
More lemon bread.
But there we go.
Good.
It brings me a small bit of joy.
Good. Well, that's all we can ask for in this rock and roll world, in a way. But you know. It's all shit out there.
Meanwhile, on the M5 north of Gloucester, you know, Officer Matthews has pulled over a white van that's been driving a little too slow.
Oh, no.
You know.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, officer. It's just that I was driving home and I thought, what a nice evening. I'll drive a little slower so I can enjoy the view. He was sent on his way with a £2,000 fine. Yeah, but he was able to enjoy the view.
It was even like you know. This lorry driver was caught using his phone while driving, and his face is blurred out. And he's like, "I've just been having a really difficult time lately. You know, I'm going through a divorce, and I miss my daughter. And I was just looking at a text from her." And the officer goes, "Do you have that text?" He goes, "Yeah. Do you want to see a picture of her? Oh, she looks lovely." He was sent on his way. Like everything.
He was sent on his way with a £10,000 fine.
No, it was often just like he goes, "Yeah, you know, everyone has a bad day sometimes. We didn't want to punish him. We just gave him.
It's all right if you're a good guy and you break the law, you'll probably be all right.
Yes, be fine.
You'll be fine. You might get a fine or just a talking to.
Yeah.
Just chance it now and then.
Come to the UK. We're very lenient.
We're very lenient with some things, not others.
We were in the mid 2000s anyway. This is a harsher world now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Speaking of which, we have a beer waiting for us.
And most importantly, what do we always say?
At the end of the show.
Format
is king.
Format is king.
Yeah.
So, on that note, and I know Nick would be bereft if we didn't do
He'd
this.
He'd be gutted.
What do you feel won?
Well.
Love or hate?
I feel like Preamble may have won.
Yeah. Ambivalent. Neutral, yeah.
I feel fairly neutral. I feel sort of on a level this evening.
I know.
As we discussed, we're very tired because of the cold weather.
And being old men.
My leg hurts in the cold weather.
My leg hurts in the cold. Yeah.
That's true, because you remember when I impaled my leg on a spike?
I do remember when you impaled your leg on a spike.
I have a hole in my leg.
Yes, you do have a hole in your leg.
And it hurts in the cold weather.
Yeah, I'm well aware of the fact that you once drunkenly tried to jump over a spiked metal fence and impaled your leg.
Because I couldn't find my way out of the club.
That's true. And then you walked home in a drunken state.
Yeah, I didn't realise I'd done it.
And then went to bed.
Yeah.
After impaling yourself on the leg, in the leg. And then you woke up covered in blood.
Yeah.
And then you went to the hospital. No, work.
I went to work.
You went to work, and then
I played football.
Then you played five-a-side football.
Yeah.
And then, and only then,
I thought I'd better go to the hospital.
Did you go to the hospital? Yeah.
Yeah.
And your punishment?
My punishment is a lifetime of my leg hurting in the cold weather.
There's a moral there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.